Hey everyone, I wanted to do a little feature on this Brave and the Bold number 34, the first Silver Age appearance of Hawkman. It was published in March of 1961. I'm going to read you the letters page, and after the letters page I'm going to go for a little article that also appears in the same comic. Hawkman's Roost. Here we go again, coming up to bat for the fourth time. On our first three appearances we came through with smash hits Flash, Green Lantern and Justice League of America, all revivals of features from the good old days. Now we're trying to maintain our 1,000 batting average with Hawkman, who will have 3 trier issues in Brave and Bold. If these issues make a resounding hit, we'll be happy to continue the adventures of the Winged Wonder in a regular magazine of his own. No one is in a better position to inform our readers of the two-time life of Hawkman than Gardner F. Fox, his original and present-day writer, who has this to say. It was with great delight that I learned of the decision to renew publication of Hawkman after an interval of some 13 years. I was especially pleased, for I created Hawkman way back in 1939 for Flash Comics, and always felt that, given a chance, Hawkman could stand on his own in a magazine devoted solely to his adventures. Hawkman was created almost at the same time as was the original Flash, for both characters made their initial appearances in Flash Comics number 1, dated January 1940. For over 100 consecutive issues of this magazine, Hawkman battled such evildoers and criminals as the Hummingbird, the Raven, the Hotshot, Simple Simon, the Ghost, among many others. It is of interest to note that Hawkman was the only character who appeared in every adventure of the old Justice Society of America. From time to time he served as chairman of the JSA. I'm sure his fans would be as pleased as I would myself to see Hawkman return to the current Justice League of America. As to the how and why of his creation, Sheldon Mayer, the then editor of Flash Comics, wanted a superhero type character to balance the super speed heroics of Flash. I played around with a couple of ideas, getting nowhere, when I chanced to see a bird swoop down into my backyard and fly off with a twig for its nest. The notion struck me. Suppose the bird were a winged man, swooping down on a fug, twig, and flying off to deposit him in jail, nest. Lo presto, Hawkman was born. I named him Carter Hall in the civilian identity of a wealthy playboy, the reincarnation of a former Egyptian warrior. He fought evil in our present day as he had fought evil in the time of the pharaohs. To enable him to fly, he used a belt of anti-gravity metal called Ninth Metal. A rack of ancient medieval weapons was built in his home. When he went out on a case, he selected one or more of these weapons for use. His motto was, "With a weapon of the past, I shall defeat an evil of the present." The current Hawkman differs somewhat from Hawkman number 1. He is a policeman first of all, though from another planet. Sierra is now his wife, while in the original she was Sierra Sanders, Carter's girlfriend, as well as his aide Hawkgirl. His double identity is still protected by the name Carter Hall, but he now acts the more interesting role of museum director. One thing will always remain the same though, his exciting adventures. In the next issue we hope to have a similar communication from Hawkman illustrator Joe Kubert, world famous comic artist, who achieved his first measure of fame with his vivid portrayal of Hawkman in the 1940s. Is Hawkman's ability to fly with strapped on wings a far-fetched conception? Science, as represented by Drs. E. Guerra and B. Gunther of the University of Chile, Valparaiso, say no. Recently, these 2 Chilean scientists asserted that man may actually be able to fly someday by flapping a set of artificial wings. As reported in the authoritative science newsletter August 13, 1960, a 154-pound man equipped with 66 pounds of flight accessories would need wings about 10 feet long with a flight surface of 60 square feet. To maintain a speed of 45 to 50 miles per hour, he should flap his wings 35 times a minute or a little faster than once every 2 seconds. The up and down speed of the wingtip should be between 15 to 20 miles per hour, or about 10 feet per second. The force of a single wing beat would be 45 pounds. The man would be working about as hard as if he walked up 30 steps a minute. Under the right conditions, a man will be able to keep up this pace for from 5 to 30 minutes. Since birds get along so well with different density from that of man, the man-powered flying apparatus should be constructed to approximate the density of birds. Birds sense just how well the flight is going by pressures on the wings as well as the body. The scientists suggest something be done to give a flying man the same advantage. Drs. Guerra and Gunther conclude that man-powered flight is possible and should be tested experimentally, because new hypotheses and materials, both metals and plastics, are available which can be used to solve some of the engineering problems involved. Ever since we hinted in another magazine that a revival of Hawkman was under consideration, we have been the recipient of some letters on this subject. Here's one from L.L. Simpson, who writes from Tyler, Texas. Frankly, I'm 30 years old and I admit I enjoy reading comics, good ones, mostly those Your Company issues. One of the first I can remember reading as a small boy was a Batman story concerning harbour pirates whose motor launch had a knack of disappearing into a blank wall. Of course, when Superman debuted, I was around too. The artwork has improved. I, needless to say, knew the first Flash and the first Green Lantern. You are doing well by them now. Now I read you may revive another old friend, Hawkman, for guest shots in the Justice League of America. Bunk, excuse the expression. I insist he have his own strip. Not a book, mind you, but strip. Despite the abundance of rockets and spacemen, birds are not yet extinct. I see no reason Hawkman shouldn't return. As I recall, he was a solid, well-built character with good stories and great artwork. Do as well by him as you have by Flash and Green Lantern, and you'll have another great favourite. Good luck. Next comes a letter from Roy Thomas of Jackson, Missouri. I'm very glad you're thinking about bringing back some old Justice Society of America characters, especially my favourite, Hawkman. If you bring back this colourful character, complete with mace I hope, I have two suggestions. One, bring him back with his old mask, the one with the beak and wings on it, and two, if possible, have Joe Kubert draw him, or some other artist with about the same flair. Kubert's a great comic book artist. One final note, if you want to bring back any more of the old superheroes, how about Dr. Fate? Why? Mainly I think because his blue and yellow costume was about the most colourful in all the comic books. It alone I believe will be enough to sell a lot of magazines. Mr. Thomas's request for Joe Kubert as Hawkman artist has already been fulfilled. While no decision has as yet been reached on reviving Dr. Fate, we hope to have an announcement on this fairly soon. Finally, we have a special delivery letter from Vincent Ryan of the Bronx, New York. One of the thrills of a lifetime comes when you meet an old friend after a lapse of many years. The other day I experienced a double coincidence in this connection. While looking over the comics rack in my neighbourhood store, I heard a voice call out, Vinny Ryan! Wheat! I looked around and immediately recognised my best boyhood pal, whom I hadn't seen in about 15 years. The wheat cry was a carryover from our early teens, when we were both members of the Hawkman fan club, the wheat being the sound effect Hawkman used when communicating with birds. After resolving to renew our friendship, I picked up a copy of a comic book, and here's a second of the coincidences, saw mention of the possible revival of Hawkman, another of my boyhood favourites. I certainly hope we issue Hawkman again. For all of the comic characters I ever read, he was by far the most colourful and exciting. I warn you, I shall keep haunting the newsstands until I see Hawkman's name emblazoned on a magazine cover. Wheat! Hawkman's Roost is your communications centre, fans, where you can meet your fellow readers and discuss your likes and dislikes, offer suggestions, or just gossip about this magazine. Send your letters to Hawkman's Roost, care of National Comics, 575 Lexington Avenue, New York 22, New York. I hope you enjoyed that letters column. Here's another little article from the same Brave and the Bold number 34. Weather birds. Whenever crows flock together at dawn and gape at the rising sun, it is a sign that the day will be hot and dry. Low-flying swallows are an indication that bad weather is on the way. As soon as a peacock begins to sound a harsh clamour, it is an indication that rain will soon fall. Should rooks start to build their nest high in elm trees during the latter part of winter, it is a long-range forecast of pleasant summer weather.